Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Andy Ortiz. I am a reporter with TheWrap. We are so happy to have you here for our 2021 Emmy Awards screening of The Voice. Today, we're going to be joined by host and producer Carson Daly, executive producer Audrey Morrissey, and supervising producer Clyde Lieberman. We're going to be showing you the trailer, and then we're going to go right into a conversation with our panelists. To our audience, please take use of the live chat function. Share your thoughts on what's going on, what you love about The Voice, where you're tuning in from. We want to be interacting with you and seeing what is up. So before we introduce our guests officially, let's take a look at the trailer.
Nick Jonas is back this season.
Nick Jonas
Making his return to The Voice. Nick Jonas!
Welcome back,
Thank
Nick.
you. It's good to be back.
I love Nick Jonas, y'all.
What's not to love? He's a gentleman. He's very talented, very handsome.
Nick Jonas is sitting there in a freshly Windexed jacket. So shiny. Got to stay sanitized.
We love having him here. He's a great guy.
I'm so proud to be a part of this Voice family.
I've got something to prove now. I lost to Blake in the finale of my last season. Everybody's done that.
The gloves came right off.
Nothing has brought me more pleasure than hearing your voice and seeing that beautiful block symbol in front of Blake.
Nick is really a great coach, and he knows music very well.
I also play the drums and keys and guitar and sing, and I think the perfect home for you would be Team Nick.
We're just having fun. That's all we ever do. After the last season that I did, Nick's notes kind of took on a life of their own.
I've been working on a presentation, all the things I love about Blake Shelton.
And I'm happy to now share that with Team Nick with their own Nick's notes.
Welcome to Team Nick.
Look how rad you would look in that jacket.
This season, I have a bobblehead doll.
Blake's bobblehead is not Blake, so let's just cover that right off the bat.
I wrote a song that I used to welcome my team members. You know I had to fight for you. Welcome to Team Legend.
We get it.
Yeah.
John, I think your performance was longer than hers.
I think The Voice has evolved in small ways over the last 10 years, but at the end of the day, it still is what it started out to be, which is a show that is about talent first.
Every year, we get the chance to be amazed by new artists that we've never heard before.
I'm falling again, I'm falling again, I'm falling.
A lot of people can sing, but not a lot of people can move me.
My lovely mother is battling cancer.
Is she on video? Oh, there she is. Oh, my goodness.
You really have a unique opportunity as a coach to help these incredible artists into the next chapter of their musical journey.
Drop the pedal, let go. Girl, we're going right on the freeway.
That was unbelievable. And you've got a choice to make between
right and wrong.
Welcome back. It is now my greatest pleasure to introduce Carson Daly. Hello, Carson.
Hi, Andy.
We have Audrey Morrissey. Hello, Audrey.
Hi there, Andy.
And we have Clyde Lieberman. Hello, Clyde. Welcome, everyone.
Hello, Andy.
Thank you guys for being here today. I am
Thanks for
so
having us.
excited to be speaking with you all.
Thank you. We are too.
Are you guys keeping cool? There's like a heat wave sweeping the country right now. So you guys like not melting wherever you're at?
I'm good. I'm by the beach, thank God.
That's lucky. Well, I want to dive right into things here. Of course, we are talking about The Voice today. This is a big, big year for The Voice. We are going into season 21. We are going into year 10 of the show. Emmy nominated again. Congratulations, first of all, to all of you. I mean, just
Thank you.
pat on the back for a job well done, you guys. You're killing it.
Thank you so much.
How surreal is it to still be going strong, this many years later and still be just raking in Emmy nominations? I'm going to start with you, Audrey. How's that feel?
Shocking. I mean, overwhelming, grateful, thrilled. Just really, really grateful that it's still happening and that people are still enjoying the show. And we work really hard to try to keep ourselves at that level, but it's great when you're recognized, of course.
Of course. And Clyde, what about you? You've been with the show many, many years now. Is it strange to you to still be here? Is it just exciting? What is this like for you?
Strange and exciting. Those are two pretty accurate words. But more than anything else, it's pretty gratifying. We signed on for this show. It looked like it could be great, but it obviously exceeded my wildest expectations. So I feel super blessed.
Well, it has definitely exceeded everyone's expectations, I think. And Carson, I mean, you've been hosting since its inception. Many judges have come and gone, but Carson, you have been the mainstay with The Voice. So what has this experience been for you? And I mean, how do you feel going into season 21?
Well, I mean, it's been life-changing for me personally and for my family to have this job. I mean, it's a dream job for me, loving music so much, and with a radio background in music and working at MTV, and then, coming over to NBC for late night, which I did for a long time. And when the concept of this, this large scale Mark Burnett Productions show in prime time on NBC came up, and it was music based, and it also tapped into the elements of live TV. It felt like a godsend as a host. I mean, it's like I'm only good at two things, and it's music and live television. So it's been crazy. It's been an amazing journey, and like Clyde and Audrey said, we're just so lucky, and we just can't take any of the credit because there's so many people behind the scenes. I know you hear people say this in the Emmy speeches and whatnot, but when it's just true, it's just undeniable, and you can't ignore it. I mean, this show couldn't be on for 10 years if it wasn't for there's like hundreds of people that make the wheel go round, and somehow collectively we just are like a super group. And for the quality control, season 21, or cycle 21, as we say, twice a year, which people thought we were nuts to go on twice a year because the burnout factor, especially for young people, for us to hold a popular culture's interest twice a year on that much is an incredible feat. And so we just have a great team.
I think it probably is the actual definition of dream team at this point.
It really is. It really is.
Well, so Carson, I do want to ask, because, you mentioned you came up in radio. I came up in radio as well, big old radio nerd here. I want to know, just from this is going to be like a little geeky moment here, but what's harder for you, hitting the post into a song or hitting like your break going into a commercial break on live television?
The break in live TV is difficult. Audrey and I have now lots of experience, but it's funny because when we first started, the IFB that hosts Where in Live Scenarios is an interesting one because it's triggered, meaning you hear somebody in your voice from the control room when they press a button. And when they press that button, their little microphone goes hot. So as a host, when you're live, if they need to count you down, you also hear everything that's happening in the world behind them. Sometimes, and we joke about it, because sometimes Audrey, you can lock that talk button. So sometimes Audrey will just want to tell me something like, go to break or 5 seconds or whatever that important information is. And she'll leave her key locked, and I can hear Alan, our director, saying, "Ready 2, take 2, ready 3, take." Whose car's parked over here? We got a car to move. Who wants lunch? Starbucks run. And I hear the whole environment while I'm on live TV. So that's not often, but so that has been that's harder for me, the live TV thing, because the radio posts, like when I worked at K-Rock in LA and alternative rock stations, I played all of the songs, Pearl Jam songs, so much. I knew that a live had 18 seconds, and I know the song so well as I'm talking, I know exactly when to shut up to nail the post on music.
Well, Audrey, I want you to be...
Andy, may I say anecdotally that when you're in my position at my table in the production, we marvel at Carson's ability to get out of tight spots at the end of the show. It is one of the greatest things that we talk about. We'll be literally watching the live feed, and we'll be betting like, how's he gonna do this? How's he gonna say who won, who's going on to next week, and still get off the air in time? So it's super fun. It
is fun.
I will just say, the very first time Mark Burnett put me on a live TV show, the adrenaline rush that I got the very first time I did it was like nothing I'd ever done as a musician or as a person in the music business. It totally hooked me the very first time. I was a junkie from day one. The first time they mainlined me with live TV, I was like, I'm done. I'm here for the rest of my life.
It's fun.
This is what we're doing now. This is all we're doing now. Yes, I totally get that. Audrey, I want you to be super honest with me here, because if you have the ability to speak into Carson's ear when he's live on television, do you ever mess with him? Like, please.
Oh, God, no. Oh my God.
Not on purpose.
Definitely not. Yeah, I mean, the worst thing ever is when I have, as Carson said, kept the key down inadvertently, and I'm excited about something else, or I'm even screaming, not screaming, but high level volume voice, poor Carson, like in his ear when he's trying to act normal and get on. So that's really horrifying, and it certainly has happened, but hopefully more often than that, we actually have a nice system and try to get him off as close to the end of the show as possible without not getting off.
That happened like once or twice early on.
Yeah.
We've done how many? We've done many live shows, Andy.
No, it's
and Audrey
true.
does a great job, and the team in the truck. There's a lot of back timing that goes. I mean, the live TV show, but we pull off. You know, the live shows are, especially down the stretch, the last month, it's really like pulling off a mini, award show or Grammys. It's a major with all the set changes, and especially as we get closer to the finale and things become more detailed and involved on stage, it requires more concern for timing. The more we talk to artists or go to coaches for their response, certainly you want to be able to control everything and ask people to talk for 22 seconds or 35 seconds or a minute. But when they're passionate about their artists, it's live TV. We also don't want to stifle them. We just want them to be themselves. So the timing of the live show is extremely tricky, but they do an incredible job to get into that last act where we're plus minus of like 10 seconds to get off, perfectly. And sometimes I have to rush it a little bit at the end, but our team is really, I honestly think we make it look too easy. I don't even know if the network knows how difficult it is, especially to do it so often on our batting average of just putting on this juggernaut of an eventized primetime television show with hype and energy. It's like a sporting event. It's like an Olympic event. And our crew they're just geniuses at it. It's so cool to get nominated for an Emmy in so many different categories. And you see like our editors, our directors, both on the reality side and the other side. So I don't know. We're like the Kansas City Chiefs, we just have a great team.
It's true.
I would think that at the end of a live show that everyone just sort of like once it cuts to black, cuts to the next thing, everyone just sort of like a big exhale, and then you just like pound a bottle of water and you're like, all right, guys, we're going to do it again tomorrow night.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
That and the fact that you're already totally sweating about how you're going to pull off whatever has to happen next. That never stops. And that's actually part of the thrill of working with Carson and Audrey for me and the whole team, is that we have to constantly think forward on the show. I mean, we're always thinking about what's next. What's the next song? What's the next arrangement? Mm-hmm. What's the next plan? What's the next theme? How are we going to do this? And that's why it never would occur to anybody to do anything silly like phone in your job, because you've been doing it for 21 seasons and it never ceases to be new. It's new every week. There's a new singer, there's a new song, there's a new arrangement. It's super exciting in that respect.
I do want to just jump on that a little bit, because I think in some ways it does look easy, but having come from like Carson, MTV, and award shows, whether it was the VMAs or the movie awards or whatever, for those shows, you're planning close to a year out. I mean, certainly 9 months out, you really are pinning down stuff, and maybe 6, 4, 3 months out, you're talking to artists, and you have a plan. What's crazy about this show, and is unlike any other, is that certainly will be this fall, for 6 weeks, we will be mounting at least 11 to 12 songs every week, and we literally only truly have 3 days to prep. From the time we know the songs, we don't know truly the songs until Tuesday night, maybe Wednesday morning, what songs are going to happen the following Monday. And by Friday, we're rehearsing those songs with set pieces on the stage. So that whole set department, they're building sets, writing screens. We rehearse all weekend, refining, better, programming, whatever, rehearsing, boom, dress rehearsal Monday. Right. So that, again, that is what's unheard of. That throughput that all starts with song selection, and not even to mention the band, like what the band does, all the songs they not only learn, but like rearrange, just work it in. So that the whole machine that does that is bar none the best.
I'll just add one thing, Andy, is that the reason most people stay on The Voice, and just about everybody has stayed through the entire run to date, is, and this is straight up to my boss, because on The Voice you get empowered to do your job. And that's really the unique environment. It's like almost everybody came from working in other environments, but everybody stays because if you run a department, if you make a decision about music, you are empowered to do that because you've been hired to be the best that you can be at your job and been assumed that you can do this. And it's really this incredible balance between a hands-off environment where you can do your thing and a hands-on environment, which is if you need to go to, if I need to go to Carson, if I need to go to Audrey, if I need to go to the head of cast, these are all super professionals. So you always feel like I'm in this incredibly professional environment. Where am I gonna ever come close to this?
Well, it sounds at the heart of it, it's just a whole lot of trust between everybody on the show. I mean, Carson trusts Audrey and Audrey trusts Clyde and so on and so forth. And because like you said, it is a lot of moving parts, and you just kind of have to know that everyone's going to make their part work and make it happen. And you guys pull it off seamlessly. So yeah, I agree. You do make it look very, very easy. That being said, Audrey, as executive producer, I know that there's probably a lot of pressure on you, right? To always like, what's going to be new? What's going to be different? And obviously you've included new elements over the seasons. You've got the steal and the block and the save, instant save and whatnot. And I gotta figure at some point you have to maybe push back and be like, you know what, we're good. Like we don't necessarily need anything new. But how do you balance that, the need to make and I would assume the want to make The Voice stand out, because of course there are tons of competition shows, and the knowledge of like, you know what, we're good. How do you balance that?
You get Ariana Grande.
Exactly. I mean, no joke. Exactly. It's exactly right. People are pushing for that all the time. What can we promote? What's promotable? What's new? What's another reason? And you just really have to try to pass it through some like main tenets of the show. And like, does it fit? Does it not fit? And like we can't jump the shark. It has to make sense. There has to be like a real need and something that will foster more gameplay in the natural dynamic of the show. Like someone said to me, and like no idea is a bad idea, but people were like, okay, so we should we put in a block the block button? Like, can there be like a anti-block? I'm like, wait, let me understand this. A block, like you're saying a block the block. I'm like, I don't think so. I can't even explain that. But at the end of the day, if something does come up like that makes sense in this sort of sports language, and it will foster more of what everybody loves about The Voice, which is that good-natured, fun rivalry, real and just, put on, for fun. Yeah, then we do it. But the real thing that has been tried and true and also speaks to the strength of the format is the rotating coaches, because everyone that has taken a chair has been incredible, and Ariana is no different. And everybody, she was just saying it yesterday, nobody can believe it's a job. They're like, I can't believe I get paid for this. I get to sit amongst my peers and now dear friends and get to listen to great music and singing and offer help and guidance and critique and support, and sometimes some tough love, but deliver it in like a very nurturing way and just help these talented people move a little further down on their path, down the road. That's really at the heart of what the show is. And so yes, back to your original question, you do have to really sometimes push back and be like, listen, Like, let's just concentrate on making the best version of the show that so many people love.
Well, speaking of Ariana Grande, obviously we have to get into this because I don't think there is a human out there that is not excited about Ariana Grande joining The Voice this season. Clyde and Carson, you both have worked with incredible artists like over your careers, but I mean, come on, you guys are excited about Ariana Grande too, right? Clyde, I can see you jumping out of your seat right now.
Well, I have to let I'm going to let Carson do most of the talking about this because of his.
No.
But Carson's career has been working with stars and doing an incredible job and making them feel comfortable and allowing them to have space to be themselves. And I think The Voice is mirroring that. And that's all I have to say about this. The very first day Ariana walked onto the set, and the very first segment that she did, the people at my production table turned to each other and went, "This is incredible." And the best thing about it was that she was amazing, like better than you could ever advertise about what kind of person she was. You could just feel that she felt lucky and fortunate to be a successful music artist, and that she thought this opportunity all of a sudden dropped in her lap to work with people who want to have careers and have talent, and she was all in. And I'm not even kidding a little bit. You could feel all in the very first time she talked about this. And I think now, after she's done it a few days, she's farther in. And all I can say, and then I'll leave the floor to Carson, is that I judge a lot about this by how the coaches feel about music and how they feel about the music that their artists are going to sing. And Ariana has grabbed the bull by the proverbial horns, and she is completely involved in making song selections and discussing them with her team, which is remarkable, because think about how busy she is. Think about how valuable each minute of her time is professionally, that she would stop, and the first thing she did after she had a team was start messaging Audrey, we have to do this song, and I want to get on this song, and we play this song for my artist. And that was awesome. So that's how I see it, and she's in all the way. And Carson can talk about it from his professional level, but I'm saying from the below the line level, wow.
Carson, I mean, that's a whole lot of high praise. Can you top it?
Well, she lives up to the hype. Listen, I mean, the first noteworthy thing to mention is for us as a show, for being on 21 seasons, the average person doesn't realize this, but it's been a tough run in television and network television because of the content has been spread so thin. I mean, the last 10 years we've seen just the entire landscape change for a lot of different reasons. The fact that The Voice has retained, we are now the most watched show in history over the last decade on a single network. And so I only say that to say that anything we can do to keep, the American family somehow sitting together in their family room, all ages, and watch a piece of content is a difficult thing to do. People like Ariana Grande make that sort of thing happen. She is a transcendent talent. It's not just because she's the most followed female Instagram person, she's got the accolades to back it up. She has the talent to back it up. She's got the chops. I mean, she's been in television since she was a kid. But the best thing I can say about Ariana is that I know Audrey mentioned this to us when we were sort of, I think she was in the run to do the show, was Audrey was saying that she's a fan of the show. She genuinely loves the show. And that's, from our point of view, you can't get a better coach than somebody who is a great person. And we've had great people. If you look at Shakira, J-Hud, Usher, the actual coaches that have been in the revolving red chairs, what makes a good coach are just genuinely good people because they have all the qualities. When the cameras are on, you can't fake the funk on a show like The Voice. You either care or it's all over your face that you don't. And Ariana, in a short time, has come in. We haven't had to explain a whole hell of a lot to her. She's given it ribbon with her relationship with Blake Shelton. I think is one of the more fun things to watch on TV this September. So to Clyde's point, she has been as advertised and more, and we're lucky to have her.
Can we make that the new slogan of The Voice? You can't fake the funk. That feels right in this moment. I like that a lot, Carson.
Yeah, you can't. And we had, if you look at Adam Levine and Adam didn't fake the funk, and people loved him for that. And he was a little more polarizing than some of the other coaches. Not everything was rosy in Adam's critiquing world, which is also great because we can't just be a show where everybody's amazing and everybody's perfect. These people came here for constructive criticism from some of the best musicians in the world. They are owed it, and they actually seek it out. We know that from talking to our artists, and people like Adam were great coaches because he does care, but he also isn't afraid to say, hey, that is way too high for you. Next time sing that thing 2 octaves lower and stop playing guitar. We lose you when you play guitar. Come back and do this again. You know, and that's fun TV too.
I'm going to toss this out to whoever feels most comfortable with it, because obviously the hype on social media is very, very high. People on Twitter have already dubbed this Ariana Grande season. They've already dubbed it the best season yet. Do any of you agree? Is this the best season yet of The Voice that we're about to get?
If the internet's saying that, yes, it's true.
Every season is the best.
We Andy, in full disclosure, where the way we shoot the show, we were just shooting recently, as of like yesterday, and I came home and was talking to my brother Audrey, Tony, who you know, who lives near you, and he's like, "How is it going?" And I said, "It happened so fast, you know." And like you wake up and you're like, "Wow, let me look back at all those performances we did." And I said to him, I was like, "Now that you say it, I think this really feels like a special season. I don't know if I'm ready to deem it the best season in 21 cycles, but as we start to narrow down, the cream rises to the top, and that cream sometimes is, to the eyeball test, thicker than other seasons. It's just the ebb and flow of being on for 10 years. This feels like really thick, great cream at the top. I don't know. Do you think that way, Audrey?
I do. Like the talent on the show, for sure. Like it's been there. You can tell because there've been such soul-crushing goodbyes to people who haven't advanced from their battle or their knockout, and you're sort of sitting there like, how is this possible? Like, it's so tough. And one person who's really struggled with that and shows her emotion is Ariana. Like, she feels so deeply about her team, and it was the most difficult thing. You know, she was saying, this is like the most difficult day of my life. This is not easy. Anyway, I agree with you. We do have a banner season. We're back to teams of 12, like larger teams. So there's just more talent. So it's been great. I mean, from that standpoint, it's going to be, tough decisions are always a sign of a great season.
Right.
That's true.
I think we have the perfect storm. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say, I think we have the perfect storm of 3 coaches who have become a real unit. They really, really are comfortable together, and that's happened over time with John, Kelly, and Blake. And then all of a sudden we're stirring the drink with this incredible flavor, and all of a sudden it's made this incredible like drink that I think it's going to be intoxicating to people. I really do.
Very, very excited to see what's happening with this season. And also because is it getting a little bit back to normal? Because I have to imagine, you know, Clyde and Audrey producing a show, especially a competition show, in the year that we just had, in a pandemic where like everything just turned on its head, everything shifted drastically. I mean, obviously that had to have been an adjustment. So how are things feeling going into this season? Are we getting back to some kind of normalcy? Were there things that you did in the pandemic that you found like, hey, this works, let's keep doing that? How is that going to go for this cycle?
I'll jump in quickly, Clyde. It's going well. I mean, everything you just said, there were things that we were forced to invent and new processes to work out with the pandemic and working remotely. And some of those have been real silver linings. Like, this is great. Personally for me, I am not commuting to Universal every day, and I've gained time in my day like others. But from a production standpoint, in the beginning, like as an example, the pandemic hit on the live shows. Not including the audience, I think we normally have maybe like 400 people working on live shows. I think that's in and about right. We had 30 people working on live shows when the pandemic first hit. That's all we were allowed on site. Everybody else was remote. So very drastic. Had to learn a lot of new ways to do things. Now I would say we're back to like half the crew is there. Some people are still working remotely. So we found it, you know, effective ways to do that. Sometimes it's easier for people to work remotely, and it's actually a benefit. The big thing for us is the audience at this point. Like, I think we've been really good about the testing and our process, but we really, this season we have 150 people unmasked back in the room. We'd love to get it to be more. We'll see how we achieve that for the live shows, but that's where you really miss it, the live shows. It's where all the energy comes from. For the blinds and the battles, we now, as I said, this season have 150 people in, and that's really helped. The funny thing, an example of a benefit, when we've had originally no audience and now just limited, the coaches actually felt like they could hear the singers better. The singing. So they were like, I don't know, like this is pretty good for blinds and battles, but lives you really miss it for sure. We'll
Clyde, I would love to know what the hardest aspect of your job is, because you clearly, I mean, you work as supervising producer very closely with the contestants and the song choices and the music, which is obviously the heart of this show. So what's the struggle that like you face, the hardest thing to really make sure that you get right, to make sure that shows are successful? Because I feel like people don't necessarily know your side of things in this machine.
Well, I have a job that would be best thought of as a consensus. I'm a consensus builder. That's what I do for a living. And sometimes I feel like a little puppy dog running back between masters, like with the bone in my mouth going, look, isn't this, look, hey, pet me, you know? And there is an element to that, to being successful at what I do, because I want everybody to be happy. And I have an artist, and I have a coach, and I have the executive producers, and I have the network, and I have the music director, and they're all wanting to weigh in. And the object is in a very, very short window to get everybody on the same page. And it's exciting. It's never boring. So it's the best part of my job and the worst part of my job. It's like a Charles Dickens novel in that respect. And so I feel sometimes like you have to park your personal taste at the door. It's very, very important that you don't bring your personal taste to your job every day, because it's not about what I like or what I think about music. It's about what's going to work for that artist in that moment on this segment of the show, so that they give the best performance of their life, so they have a chance of staying on the show to the next week. And I love the idea that from my standpoint, everybody's exactly the same. I don't care what kind of music you sing. I don't care what your style is. I don't care what your goal is. We're going to try to mount the most perfect performance for you in this moment that we can, and let the chips fall where they may. And we have done, I think, a really good job of having the artists buy into that and understand that. And I don't know about any of the other competition music shows in the world. I've never worked on them. I've worked on a couple before The Voice, but I've never worked on any of our contemporaneous, the contemporaneous shows. We try our very best to give the artist input, and the appropriate amount of input, given the fact that they also have superstar coaches, and they're also making a network TV show. So that's the goal. And I wouldn't call it the hardest part. I would just say it's the deepest part, for sure. And I will say one thing about COVID, and I'll say it very quickly. I don't think anybody ever knew they were going to become COVID specialists, but just about every department leader on The Voice has become a COVID specialist. And I probably have spent more time talking about COVID than you could never imagine. How often we have phone calls about it, how often we have conversations about it, how often I talk to the attorneys about it, because we're trying to protect the health of our staff, the coaches, the artists, everybody involved all the time. And it never stops. And it's crucial because everybody's livelihood is at stake. If we screw this up, there's no show. So we are thinking about it all the time. And that's all I can say about it. And it's not fun. That part of the job is not fun. It's super challenging, but it's super crucial. And it never stops. And I don't know when it's going to stop. and hopefully we can have an awesome audience this fall, because believe me, it makes a big difference even in the song selections. Knowing there's no audience changes the songs that work. There's no question about it.
That makes sense. With the energy in the room, I imagine you can do a little bit bigger songs.
Up-tempo songs get so much benefit from the audience. You know, it's so hard to sing a really barn-burning song to an empty room. You have to be a wonderful artist to do that. And of course, we ask artists to do that because it's part of our job. We can't have all ballads. But I'm saying when you have that audience up and they're screaming and yelling and somebody's playing an up-tempo song, it's about as much fun as it gets.
I fully believe that you would have to be a big performer to get that energy in the room. And also, one thing that I don't think people know, I didn't know until I started talking to people who were involved in other musical projects. Singing is actually a very dangerous activity in COVID times because of the spit that's flying. And you wouldn't, I don't know why, but like I just didn't think of that. And I don't think people realize that singing in general during COVID times is a hard thing to make work, which is fascinating to me. Science, man.
Yeah, 30 feet. That's the rule. Like, people couldn't, like, the droplets can carry as far as 30 feet, which is why, I mean, believe me, we know that distance. We made sure people were separated. That's also why in the battles and knockouts the past few seasons, we actually had 2 stages. We didn't want the artists to be thinking like, can I cross the line? It's like, no, you're on 2 different stages that are 30 feet apart. There's no way you can get within 30 feet. Like, we just tried to take some of the thinking out of it so they could just sing freely. But yeah, it's science.
It's science. Carson, I want to put you on the spot right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll give me an answer, but I want to see.
So fire away, Andy.
If you, Carson, were a contestant on The Voice, and I have no idea if you can sing, but I feel like with the many things that you are able to do, singing is probably one of them. So if you got a 4-chair turn on The Voice with this panel of judges, just this cycle, whose team would you choose?
It's an awesome question.
I would choose John Legend.
There was no hesitation. All right, tell me why. Tell me why John Legend wins out here.
You probably thought I was going to say Blake because we're close, but that's why I wouldn't want to be on his team, because I know him too well. He offers me nothing. John, I'm thinking, what would I have sung? And I don't know what my blind audition song would be, which is a good question too. But it very well might be in the 80s and 90s R&B world. And I feel like my taste in music falls closer to John's era, age-wise, genre-wise. So I think he would probably be the best coach for me. That's not a knock on Ari or Kelly, who are both incredible, but I think I line up best with John if he'd have me.
Okay. I'm like dying to know, do you have like a karaoke song then, Carson? If you don't have a blind audition song, everyone's got like a karaoke song.
I don't have a karaoke song. I think it's the MTV in me, Audrey. You know, like I've been around music so much since I was, 15 years old. I've never even done karaoke ever. I do sing and I play multiple instruments, but not for publication.
Well, we have Audrey and Clyde right here. If I can make a request, I know you guys are way, way planned out on this season, but if we can make a request, there's a quick bit at the live shows where we do like Carson karaoke. Come on. The name is right there. Carson karaoke.
No way.
He said absolutely not. Because I'm curious. And you guys have worked with these judges forever. I'm going to extend the question to Audrey and you, Clyde, as well. If you guys got a 4-chair turn, who would you pick? Audrey, I'll start with you.
Wow. God, that is really tough. Well, oh God. I might go Kelly.
Okay.
I might go Kelly. I think a lot.
Why?
I think following in your footsteps, just thinking about the music that I would sing, like I could never be a belter or do all those runs. I mean, maybe I should think Blake though too. Probably Blake or Kelly, because I just think I could probably pull off that music. And Kelly's obviously a big voice belter too, but I see her as more, you know, I don't know, alternative country. She just sort of seems to be more eclectic in her music and probably could come down to my level.
Okay. Clyde, that just leaves you, man. You've had some
my
time
gosh.
to think.
So, look, let's think about this. Carson picked John, and Audrey took 2 coaches because that's how she's executive producer. She gets 2 coaches, Blake and Kelly. I would take Ariana, and I would take Ariana first and foremost because she envelops her team in so much like love that you would feel really safe being on her team, like she was going to look out for you. So I really like, I would like that because I would be pretty nervous to sing on that stage. I play a little bit and sing a little bit too, but I don't do that in public, not in about 30 years. So yeah, Ariana, I also think that Ariana has a really deep understanding of music. And so if I brought her some of the wacky song ideas I had for me, I think that she'd be able to discuss them and help me navigate my way through my choices. Okay, so I'll go Ari all the way.
This was good logic. Choice. I feel like this was well thought out all around, guys. I think you guys handled that excellently.
Wait, I just have to ask Audrey, what would you sing? What would your song be?
I know, it's so funny. It's like, I have to...
Softer, though, right? It'd be like, I vision you singing like Stay by Lisa Loeb or something kind of...
Yeah, totally. It's so... Yeah, because that was my era. I was like all like female, like alternative rock, you know...
Angel Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah, like that, like exactly, all day long. But
I know what I would sing.
I too was in an a cappella singing group in college, like John.
You
was.
Were?
Yeah.
How did I not know that?
I was the assistant leader. Yes. But I did a lot of arranging and that kind of thing, and the harmonies and stuff. So I'm actually there's a group on this season. They're a family of 3. And their harmonies are so tight. They're blend. And they're almost like Little Big Town in how they just sound like one thing. And so that for a second I thought, oh, maybe I should say John because I know he's got that too. But yeah, Sarah McLachlan, yeah, all that. I used to love Melissa Etheridge. Oh my God, I used to play her album, like whatever.
Great, the best.
Well, okay, Clyde, you said you know what you would sing. So, Clyde, what would be your song?
The Kids Are All Right by The Who. That would be my song. That's the last time I played live. That's the song I played at somebody's wedding. Yeah, that would be.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, I like
it. Can I just pipe in here since we're talking about music and music?
Yeah.
I just want to say that in the history of 21 seasons of The Voice, probably one of the greatest moments ever is when Carson joined the coaches for the first time and played with them.
Yes.
I had no idea.
How did that happen?
We had no idea that was happening.
Finally got our senses together.
Yeah, we got a music department got a notice say you got to have a guitar out there for Carson. And we went, really? And so like we got this beautiful Takamine from Blake because Blake that's who he endorses. We had this beautiful guitar out there, and Carson walked out and picked it up and just. He knew the song. He played it beautifully. It was. You remember that, man? You got to remember.
Do I remember it? That was one of my favorite moments on the show, and I don't know how it happened. The only reason I think that happened is I've always loved our coach performances. They've always been one of my favorite parts of the show is watching everybody. Just going back to when we did Crazy. Yeah, like going back to that. I've loved all of them, even when they were different. I just love that super group. Them coming together, it's one of the things that sets us apart from any other show that we can do that. Like it's like our Avengers moment. I mean, I deeply love it. So we were doing Extreme More Than Words,
right.
And Blake didn't know it. And so I play in the Talent Village, the old one.
Talent Compound.
I just was playing it so he could sing it, and so I was just kind of picking at it, and then. The next thing I know, we were going to shoot it, and and I don't know who had the authority.
I feel like somebody just threw it out there, and as soon as it came out, it was like, of course.
I'm like, yeah, I'll go if you'll let me go out there and play guitar with you guys, I'll do it. But it was just anyway. Cool. Thank you for saying that, Clyde. It really was one of the highlights of my life.
I loved it. I believe that Blake told us that he refused to do the number if you didn't play.
I don't
Maybe
think
that's how I
he
got
would.
out there.
No, he would
Probably
not have
how I
done
got
an
out there.
ultimatum, but I do think he probably did throw it out, which would make perfect sense.
Well, that was super fun.
Cool.
You guys, you predicted my last question, which was going to be, what is your favorite moment on the show? So we got there. You guys know, you guys are psychics. I think that is a wonderful spot for us to wrap up. Thank you so much, Carson, Audrey, and Clyde, for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure to have you all. To those of you in the chat watching this, please be sure to take advantage of our free trial to Wrap Pro, so you can be the first to know when something like this amazing conversation just happened. If you want to know when it's going to happen again, sign up for Wrap Pro and you're going to be on that list. You can also register for upcoming screenings. You can check out past screenings that you missed all over at TheWrap.com. It's in that little screenings tab in the nav bar. Guys, thank you so very much, and congratulations again on the Emmy nomination.
Thank you,
Andy.
so much.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.